I don't know if you saw, but Takeoff recently obviously has passed away, rip. But people actually threw a funeral for him in GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. It was just like an organized, cool thing. Everybody's wearing a white suit. They actually carried a corpse.
Wow.
You know, they stole that vehicle, basically. What is that car called?
What?
The one that sends off dead people.
Oh, a hearse?
Yeah, is that what it is? A hearse.
Yeah, sends off caskets.
Yeah, they even had one of those.
It's like an entire
like hundreds of people, dude.
Funeral ceremony.
Yeah,
on GTA 5.
Yeah,
the world is becoming a weirder place by the day.
Mm-hmm. Definitely is. So much so that there's a new terrifying model that someone made that shows exactly what we may look like as humans in the year 3000.
Oh God.
Okay, so check this out. Mindy is the character at play here, with a hunched back and an arched back and neck.
Some major kyphosis going on over here.
That is like extreme text claw right there. Imagine just...
Are you going to put... Yeah, no, you can display it.
100% I will display this.
Yeah, that's a gnarly looking hand. Like, what is that from?
Zombies.
Just typing?
Typing. Holding your phone. Look how I'm holding my phone right now.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine this. And you're just like this forever.
You're just like this forever.
You're an idiot, is what you are.
No.
Do that. Imagine going to the gym like that. Yeah. All right, everybody, pick up your dumbbells.
How do you even do that? Like, I'm trying to. What do you do? You couldn't do a. No, you could do a straight bar. You'd probably have to do one of those. What are the other bars called?
Curved?
Yeah, the curved ones.
I don't know.
Anyways,
even then,
she can't lift. You can't lift with that type of hand.
Yeah, especially when you have 90-degree elbows, which is what we're covering next. Yikes. Look how it's bent inwards.
Bro, I've literally seen people that look exactly like this.
Yeah, we're starting to see it. This is what's scary. What's trippy to me is if we examine her head.
Why did they call her Mindy?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But second eyelid.
Whoa. What's second eyelid?
I guess a second eyelid. Just think about that. So we have one. Just imagine another one.
Watching TV and being on a screen all day?
Possibly. Or maybe it's called second eyelid because, I don't know. That's a really good question because even this doesn't display it well. It just looks like an alien. Right?
It just looks like a film cover over her eye.
Ooh, maybe it's a really thin layer. Because of how much exposure we have to harmful crap to our eyes, it starts to put a spider web over it almost.
Glaucoma.
Holy glaucomas. Okay. Thicker skull and smaller brain. I'm actually concerned with the shape of this skull here. Does that look in any way normal to you? Or does that look like the cover? If we were to silhouette this, it would look like the cover of Alien. 100%.
It would a little bit. I'm not as concerned about the skull. I'm concerned about her hair. Like what is going on with the hair?
I don't know. Forget about the hair for now because we're focusing on thicker skull and smaller brain.
Okay.
Which, I mean,
I can get smaller brain, but why thicker skull?
We're turning into T-Rexes if you really think about it. Smaller hands and bent elbows going 90 degrees. Right?
It's cruising.
Mm-hmm. Think about it. Thicker skull and a smaller brain. Just saying. All right. Tech neck. Yep. T-Rex for sure. 100%. Like this confirms it. So Mindy, the T-Rex here, is going to
Mindy the T-Rex
be the model for us today. This is exactly what you don't want to become. Clearly. Thank you, Mindy, for that great example. We will leave you off there to ponder on that. But anyway, yeah.
Tech neck is absolutely a thing, though.
Tech neck is a disaster.
No, not tech neck. Well, is it? It's you can use both.
What?
Tech neck or text neck.
Yeah. Same thing.
Okay.
I would say. I think it's more commonly known as tech neck, though, to maybe chiropractors and physical therapists and whatever. But recently, I had been going to physical therapy again. Now, I've done it before, but in this time, I'm just kind of like like since lifting and stretching and doing all kinds of things. I just don't feel 100%. So I decided to go check it out. The past couple of days, I have noticed that a lot of bumps that I had, like especially on my, I don't know, spinal cord, we could say, or let's just say back, due to it not being as flat as it should be, right? Now that I'm using all my stabilizing muscles, my neck is actually 100% straight. And I was telling you this earlier, but it feels off. It feels like I'm an inch taller. It feels like my head's floating above.
Which realistically is I think the right feeling to have. Because if you're always like positioned like this, and then you get adjusted or you go through some PT work, then you go like this, then it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. One week. 1 week is all it takes, and you're already feeling great. The way I feel is super loose. I get tired less quickly.
What about stability? Do you feel more stable?
Way more stable. I feel like I'm way more imbalanced. Imbalance. Sorry, I don't know why the hell. I was thinking of the word imbalanced, but whatever. Point is, throughout the day, I get less tired. And that's due to, I think, just having more center of gravity. You're not really leaning anywhere else. You're not using one muscle more than the other. You're kind of just centered.
This is interesting. Okay, I think it's two things. It's being at the appropriate posture, which also impacts your mood. But also, I think it's because, and this might be wrong, but you're getting more oxygen delivery to the brain. I wonder if you're in a position of like looking down, you can't breathe as well. But if you do that, you can breathe much better.
Yeah. I've also quit vaping and stuff. So
true.
Obviously, here's the funny thing about it. We're going to cover this in a separate episode, but
it's going to be fire.
Dude, the breathing, 100% beautifully back to normal almost. It's like you didn't know you were missing out on breath, right? Second thing is, you don't know how much breath you hold in your back. You forget that you have that whole section of your chamber that expands outwards, right? So over the days, you actually start cracking in those areas.
Yeah.
You're like feeling some form of expansion there. So it's kind of like settling in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, when you take a proper deep breath in, you should feel it from the diaphragm. You should feel it in the back as well.
It feels like a stretch.
It feels like like a balloon inflating.
Yeah, you should feel your sides kind of tighten up, you know, all that good stuff. And I was missing out on that. Why? Due to just inhalation of things other than air.
Yeah, I can't wait for that episode, and we're going to talk so much crap.
It's going to be awesome. I have a lot of personal experiences with that, spoken word from people, and just a bunch of evidence to just back up a million things with it.
What else have you noticed with this posture alignment?
Definitely easier to lift things with your legs. You know how you hear things like lift with your legs, don't lift with your back, and you're like, well, that's kind of hard. No, it's not. It's not if you're centered.
Yeah, just comes down to squatting instead of hinging.
Yeah,
that's all it is. People pick shit up like they're about to do a deadlift.
Yeah,
like no, squat down and pick it up.
I did notice this. My walking was weird for like 2 days.
How?
Like I said, I was using muscles that were not engaging on the normal. So when I got an alignment, it's like you're using full hips. You can feel the flexion of your like lower back muscle and all the good stuff. So it's back. I didn't know how like tensed or how much sitting actually affects your joints the most.
Yeah.
Flexors. Like, I had a hard time just believing that I was one of those, you know?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like whatever you do the most in regards to movement, you're solidifying a pattern.
Yeah.
And that pattern can either work for your movement and your physiology and your mood, everything else, or it can work against you. So sitting in a chair all day, I mean, look at this position. Your hips are tight. You're not engaged with your breathing properly or your abdominal region. A whole host of things are just like put into concrete. It doesn't even make sense, but and you get what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, okay? I think people think that any amount of work towards your body would make you, you know, an athlete. And it's like, well, I'm not a sports guy. I've never done sports. I'm not an athlete. I'm not an active person. And the things that you got to maintain doesn't make you an active person. An active person actually makes you, like, you need to spend hours and hours and hours of that for you to be an athlete or whatever it is you consider yourself. So I can argue the other way, which is basically you need to be doing this. This is the minimum, if anything.
Yeah. So everyone has a body.
Yeah.
Why not take care of it?
So when you're sick and you take medicine, next time don't take medicine because that's what you believe in, apparently. You know, there's no minimum requirement for anything. You know?
Ooh.
And I'm not talking about...
Keep going. I have something interesting to mention on that.
No, there could be holistic medicine. It could be... I'm just saying medicine in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So take that how you will. But it's just like, next time you're sick, don't do anything. Don't do anything at all. That's not going to help you, is it?
But I was going to say, it's probably the best route to not do anything. Unless you hit a fever high that's like, seriously, your body's in danger. Mm-hmm. Think about what a fever is. It's your body's response to stop the replication of a virus.
Yeah, but in my experience, I think movement and sweating in general will speed up the process. So therefore, that is doing something. I'm saying completely sitting still is not going to help you, right? So if your argument is, if I generate posture and I stretch every day, then that makes me an athlete or that makes me a sporty person.
God, no.
No. That's just a minimum requirement to have your joints functioning.
It's a minimum requirement to be alive.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though.
I don't like where the world's headed, man, at all.
No, bro. When I start to see mannequins that are obese and everyone's an athlete, that's when you get on my nerves. But I did want to like dive more into the PT experience. What specifically did they have you do? Because you're not going to a chiropractor. They're not just adjusting you and sending on your way.
The first like couple of days, they're kind of useless. They're pointless. They're just getting to know you. And if you had an accident or whatnot, right? And they kind of just you go through heat therapy. So they put pads on you and like electrocution shock and whatever. So they just stimulate the muscles around that region of pain. And then over the course of days, they make you do physical activity for like an hour. And then after that hour, it's like 20 minutes of, they pull on your muscles. They kind of like knead on them and massage areas, you know? Mm-hmm. And then they rub Bengay or whatever it is, Tiger Balm. And they kind of either strap you to a proper position to where your muscle's supposed to be, you know, they use kind of like those muscle pads, you know? Those
I get you.
Ones? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. But the one I had that was pretty gnarly, I'm not gonna lie. The only time I probably thought I was gonna like scream was when they were pulling my shoulder blade. Ooh. So they take your arm, they kind of set up in a position to where your shoulder blade is vulnerable and grabbable. Think of like rock climbing, how there's a rock.
Yeah.
Now you can just grab on it.
Some space to latch on.
They grab on it, they stick their fingers below it, and they relax your arm so that the muscles relax, and they pull.
It is one of the worst feelings, dude.
Ooh.
Here's the misconception people have about physical therapy.
Yeah.
Physical therapy is supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be just as difficult as a training session, because you're rewiring movement patterns and you're trying to heal your body to get on the correct path. Mm-hmm. Like when I had my PT for when I almost tore, I was probably like a millimeter away from tearing my lower abdominal wall off of my pubic bone during soccer. Oh my God. And I remember the feeling of sitting down in my car after the game that I did that. It was horrendous. I couldn't even sit.
Yeah. You can't even use a pedal. It can't do anything. Crazy.
So when I went to PT, I did PT for like 4 or 5 months, dude. It took that long. But it was one of the most difficult things I've been through. And like even to the point where they had to relax my abdominal wall. So the PT would come in, dig under my rib cage and massage the deepest area under the rib cage. It was one of the most like painful but also just odd feelings.
Yeah, it's
because
like
nobody ever goes there.
You shouldn't grab, like it doesn't feel like you should grab there. I know what you mean. So it feels off, especially if it's because someone else's hands too, you know? Yeah. You're like, whoa.
I enjoyed it though. I just PT's
something
fun.
In that kind of pain does feel good because it's relieving of some sort, you know? Or maybe you've been curious about this part of your body for so long that now it's being satisfied, but it's painful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got to deal with some pain if you want to change.
Very nice. Yes, sir. I don't know, dude. I've been on this whole Zen wave lately. I don't know if you guys can see the packs here, but
I get sponsored by this company, man.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't know, dude. It's just tonight's the blood moon, so I'm excited for that. Actually, I have that planned. If anyone follows me on Instagram, you should, because I have a lot of things planned this upcoming year. Actually, I've been hella into calendars and stuff, so I've been filling out literally days in advance.
Damn, it's gonna be a good
So I can
year.
look forward to it. You know, because when you plan things out, they become beautiful. Especially when you do it from the heart and soul, and you know you do it from the heart and soul. You plan it out, and it's just performance time, baby. Once it comes down to
That's
it,
what we do
And
with the
it's-
episodes.
Exactly.
Well, at least most episodes, or a lot of episodes.
Yeah, I love it.
Other ones we just like to free
I love
flow.
it. And we're not here to sell you Prime or anything, so we're we're Gucci on that. We're here to talk some sense into people, and yeah,
I'm enjoying the cold weather.
it's amazing.
This is when, or at least you said this. This is when you thrive. I thrive in hotter weather, but I also really appreciate just rain, clouds, the crisp, cool air, walking
Mhm.
at night. Oof,
Mhm.
nothing like it.
It's the breath for me, man. It's the
Yeah.
cold, cold breath. Very nice, and the layers. You know, I like my coats. Got them sweaters coming. Got
the
a bunch of
permanent
beanies
layers.
ordered. Bro, we got some wallets coming. You guys have no idea what's
I
happening.
need beanies.
Yeah,
some
we need
beanies.
beanies, wallets, keychains, and everything, bro. We'll be chilling. on
Random
that.
assortment of goods.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Okay, well,
There's-
I have a question. This might be a stupid question.
What?
So cigs, okay?
Cigs?
Yeah, cigarettes.
Okay.
You know how they have a menthol version?
Mm-hmm.
And people describe that menthol version as like a cool feeling in the
Yes.
lungs. Is that the same thing as the cold air? Because I have no idea. I've never smoked a menthol.
Yeah,
Cigarette.
but think of it as more dry. I would say yes, but like it's still burning, so it's not really the same. But in terms of a cigarette, like that cigarette burn, it would cool it down, technically.
Does the question even make sense?
It does make sense because I
Okay.
know, like, if you don't smoke, then you would probably just wonder, you know?
I smoke
You've
all day.
heard
I
it,
smoke
yeah.
oxygen all day, bro.
I don't know, dude. I had a question that popped into my head the other day, but it was, what do you think of parents that verbally abuse their kids in public? You've probably seen this before.
I've seen it, but give me an example of what do you mean by verbally abuse?
Well, it has to stand out to you, first of all, as verbal abuse, which is like obvious screaming or verbal assault in like something where everyone is looking, type of thing.
Like
You know?
calling them an idiot? I think that's
Mm.
verbal abuse to a child, yeah.
Yeah, calling him an idiot, or just like maybe let's just say verbal abuse, but causing a scene in public. You know those extra loud parents. You know what I'm talking
Awkward.
about,
It's really awkward, man.
right? Where it's almost like they're an animal. They're not really a child. You know what I'm talking about? It's
Yeah.
really extreme.
Well, it's interesting because what just popped into my head is that if you are, I think that's a sign of a weak parent. If you're raising your voice and you're screaming, especially in a public place, to try to get your child to do something and be disciplined, I think that's a weak parent. I think if you were a strong parent, you wouldn't be in that situation in the first place. I could be wrong. I don't have kids,
Mhm.
but it's just what popped into my head.
I don't know, man. You're a child if that's the case.
Like I remember, dude, I distinctly remember when I was a kid, my dad didn't have to say anything. He would just look at me
yeah,
in a certain way, and I'd get in check.
yeah, you'd be.
I'd be like intimidated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
That is absolutely correct. I mean, I understand that there are children that are just insane.
There's some crazy ass kids out there, bro.
Yeah, but when your tone gets to a point where you're about to throw a fist, like that's what it feels like because energy is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Once it turns into that, and then you look at the child, and he's 3 years old, 4 years old, barely talking through his
Baby.
missing teeth.
It's a baby.
You know?
Yeah.
And you're at the local Albertsons, and you're just shopping around, and you're standing in line, and then suddenly you hear screaming, and you're like, whoa, what are these adults doing? And then you look, and it's like some lady and her tiny ass son. And she's just grabbing him left and right. And she's like, no. And just screaming and just, you know, like what? What could possess you to do that in public? There's a missing shame factor. Like you're oblivious to people or something, you know?
Yeah.
No matter what, bro. Because like, listen, we can all get angry, but it doesn't mean I'm going to show you that I'm angry, right? I could be angry somewhere else about whatever it is it could be. But seemingly these people don't care. Like they just, and I find it amusing in most cases, but for the most part, it's almost like I want to step in and help because I know it's inhumane in some form, you know? But you can't do anything.
No.
Because it's none of your business.
Unless they hit the child. Yeah. Like blatant, just
if they hit
striking
the child,
of the child.
That's a different thing. You
that's a different
separate
story.
both of them and call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. You could call it emotional immaturity. You can call it lack of discipline, lack of experience. I think it certainly has to do with something. It has to do with this phenomenon where we get really annoyed at people we're around a lot of the time. Does that make sense? Or like we are easily triggered by the people who are closest to us. I think it has something to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's like, it's extra comfort with the people that you're.
Yeah, sometimes complacency. And for some reason, because they know us so well, they can tap into like these certain areas where they just do one thing to.
It's insane to think about because you hear of all these murders sometimes, and a high percentage of them is family members.
Yeah,
that killed another family member.
It's crazy.
A spouse, a girlfriend, something of some sort of high level comfort. Damn, that's that's pretty cool to think about because there, you know how like in science you could just trace these things and it would be like, yeah, we found traces of this, and we feel like, you know, all these shootings and whatever have something to do with a mass psychotic issue, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, we can link that with science. This is the same thing. It's like we're being detectives, and you're trying to correlate similarities between things. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Cool. We just like kind of like linked something. Yeah, I was supposed to watch that movie that we talked about.
Oh, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah.
I can see why people call that the perfect movie.
Man, I really want to watch that just because of that scene. That scene you sent me.
That scene, I have goosebumps thinking about that scene. But I sent that to you because it's just like a man in his camera. I'm like, it's 100% SAIED.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing tonight. That's why I'm so excited. Like you asked me today, you're like, you want to record today? I'm like, I'm down to record today and tomorrow. I don't care. Because here's the thing. I can always talk. And I have things to do. And, you know, since I'm doing things, I have things to talk about. Right? Which is cool. And as a whole, I feel like everything is just awesome right now. The 2 a.m. podcast is cool. We have a really cool audience. We have a really unique audience. I haven't seen this kind of audience to any podcast out there.
I think we did it right.
Yeah.
And we're doing it right. Instead of just like causing, you know, like trying to go viral just with some controversial BS. Like anybody can do that legitimately.
I don't have to prepare the generic news for people. I could just talk and somehow we'll find relevance between that. Yeah. With modern day. Very nice.
Today feels like a silent day.
Yeah. It is a silent day. Well, here, we're transitioning into like the winter, and today was like one of the first all-day rain days.
Oh, bro, can we please talk about this?
What?
So, I don't think we've ever covered astrology on the podcast, have we?
Not astrology as a whole. We've mentioned black holes. We've mentioned light years and things like that.
No, not.
Oh, you mean like star reading?
Like star signs and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. So like
Capricorn, Aries, yeah. The more I dig into it, and I even have an app for it now.
Oh my God! Don't.
No, I swear to God, dude.
Okay.
Listen.
Continue.
It's called Chani. Okay.
Shani?
No. Chani. I think it's Chani or Chani, whatever.
Okay.
Chani.
Okay. For Chani. Just kidding. Yeah.
Now I am skeptical. Okay, but the more I dive into this area, the more synchronicities pop up. Like uncanny synchronicities. It's not something I'm searching for in my mind that I've been exposed to before. It's something that pops up that like logically speaking should never pop up. Make sense?
Okay.
And each like reading, so this app basically gives you what your forecast for the day looks like.
Sure.
Based off of when you were born, time, where the planets are, stars are.
Where the sun was aligned. Sure.
And I have to say, it's 85% of the time is accurate. And I verified this with people close to me as well.
Well, I don't know, bro. But my entire life, that like this is at least what I was told, right? Is coming from a Muslim background, it's like these things exist. I know they exist. But we are told not to believe in them for many reasons.
Not fully, at least.
Yeah, not fully, at least. I like the fun of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I like the hobby of it. You know, when a girl asks you like, "What's your whatever," and then you give her all the information, and she says, "Call your mom and tell her like what time were you born in the morning."
Yeah.
You know? You're like, whatever. Okay, you do it. They start telling you things. You're like, okay, that's interesting, but it's like, it never to me was so personal that it was like, oh my god, I'm freaking out. You know, it was just like, okay, I can see how this could be a magic trick of some sort where you got something kind of personal, you know. But
it's just the synchronicities. That's the only thing that hasn't really like
shifted anything for me.
Tapping into my brain.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is no.
What kind of things are you talking about? Like when you see 1111 a lot?
No, not that shit. I mean, occasionally you'll see like 444, 555, all that. I take that with a grain of salt because the time is always revolving.
Give me an
You're
example.
going to have a lot of opportunities to see that.
Yeah, give me an example of what you're talking about.
This example doesn't apply to me, but imagine like you've been very close to all of your friends for the majority of your life. You have a strong
Bond.
circle of friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it feels like you are completely alone and that there are fights now happening for whatever reason. You don't feel as close to people for whatever reason. And then you pop onto the app and it says something, whatever, around the lines of, you're going through a chaotic time with your friendships right now. Like, that's not a general statement you would say to somebody. Without it, or maybe I'm just giving a shitty example.
No, that's not a shitty example. But I feel like, look,
you know it when you see it and you experience it. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Look, it's like it's the fortune cookie effect.
What is the fortune cookie effect, though?
One time I had, like, for example, you know, you go through a breakup or a loss or whatever, and you go to Panda Express, you crack open a freaking fortune cookie, and it literally tells you, like, along the lines of something that resembles what just happened to you.
Yeah, but fortune cookies are vague as hell. These are like specific.
No, I've seen some pretty sick.
I don't know where you're getting your fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies suck today. Today they suck. But fortune cookies were a thing because they were a thing. Like, they were really popular because they were more than vague.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it has something to do with a lack of experience in the world, maybe. But you know, do you see now what I mean by, like, it hits personal?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not too far off from something uncommon, okay? Because if I were to go to someone and talk about my problems, okay, and I chose this person because I just believe that they're just completely opposite of what I'm going through, so I go to them because they're just in a different world.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them about my problems, and then he tells you exactly the same thing that happened last week, which is very similar. So you go, these things happen all the time. I'm no one special. You just thought you were because you were inexperienced with that knowledge. Like, you didn't know people went through that.
Sure.
You get me?
Yeah.
So, in a sense, maybe now that you've seen it, you now consider it vague. Does that make sense?
But so most people believe that the universe, there's some divinely inspired energy or entity that encapsulates the universe, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like you believe in God, you believe in karma, whatever. Why is this so out of like the realm of possibility?
I don't know. I feel like this is going to be easier for me to grasp just because I know that, God has promised us, obviously, that everything is kind of written out and laid out before we were even existing.
The idea of fate.
The idea of fate. So don't try too hard, and it's like freaking, what was the quote I shared the other day by Omar ibn Khattab? Oh my God, what was it? It was like something about guilt and worry, but I'll share it right now for you guys.
But I do want to,
it's right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. No amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of worrying can change the future. What does that resemble to you? Know what I mean? Like, what does that show you?
You should be in the
things
present
must
moment,
be things must be pre-planned. So why must you worry? Control what you can, and worry less.
Mm-hmm. And granted, I do approach the astrology from. I'm not attached to it. Like I can see the holes in it, but it's fun.
It's interesting. It's fun. It is fun. It's fun how it can go down like a rabbit hole of how much deeper can it get. Yeah.
What's really enjoyable to me is like diving into, like me being a Capricorn, for example, like one of the rarest signs out there. Diving into the specific descriptions of what a Capricorn is like and how they operate, for the most part, it's accurate. It's accurate to how I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not expose myself to any of that information prior. So it's like, there has to be something there.
It's energy.
You can't just knock off all these things that I've lived without knowing it and then, have it be complete BS.
Yeah. I honestly believe energy is a coded thing that you send out based off of your emotions and logic. And it somehow is like its own soul generating its own waveform, and it does things based off of the other programming of other people's like intentions in the air. Like that's what formulates things. That's how I view it. It's like a disbursement of energy that's just colliding with everybody's, and depending on how you're coded and they're coded and whatever, it's doing different things. Which is why, like, how we see all these movies. It's like Go Back to the Future, and we'll change a couple things so that Queen Elizabeth lives another 10 years or whatever. Yeah. That doesn't make sense because you cannot go back and be like, all right, I'm gonna shift. Everybody's intention is gonna be exactly identical. You don't know that yet.
Oh, did you listen to the Case 63 podcast series?
No.
Bro, it goes into all that stuff.
All that stuff?
From the future, from the past, influencing timelines.
I think about that all the time, and I'm like, that seems impossible.
But theoretically, it's possible. Theoretically. Wormholes, all that shit.
Yes, but if you're going to believe in fate, then that is stronger in a sense.
Yeah. I think we need more clarity on the subject. I think we should bring someone on to read our signs and stuff.
Okay, I'm down.
If anyone is an astrology expert out there, get in touch with us. Send us an email at thereal2ampod@gmail.com.
We'd be more than happy to actually get ourselves covered with that.
Yeah. Tell us about how we're special, please. Enlighten us.
Yeah. Okay, guys, once again, if you enjoyed this episode, you know exactly where to find us. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major streaming platforms. So go ahead and check us out. Leave a comment in the video below if you're watching us. If you're not, please go ahead and share this episode. Give us a 5-star review. We would appreciate that. More news, more special episodes coming next episode. So, yeah.
Just wait and see.
Catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.